Hello, my name is Robbie Fitzwater. I own and operate Marketing Rhythm. We help e-commerce businesses with retention marketing through email and SMS marketing. One of the questions we get asked all the time is like, hey, how do I think about, or how do I plan a promotional event? Or how do I plan a promotion? And we have a way that we like to think about this. We have a really visual format and really kind of a different way that we want to think about it. But we'll want to walk you through kind of like some of the nuts and bolts and nuances of how to do this, how to think about it, and then how to apply a few different angles to it to make it engaging, make it different, and keep people drive the behavior you want to see. So let's dive in. Basically, when we're planning any type of promotion, we want to be planning this a while in advance, months, quarters, however long we need to. But basically, we want to have some type of lead in to that promotion. So we want to be setting our dates early. So say this is month X and we have a promotion running in this date range. We want to set those dates early. We want to also understand, hey, who is the audience we want to be, again, getting on board with this? So we want to be determining our audience. Then we want to be understanding how can we reverse engineer this to understand how do we lean into it and plan those dates out really smoothly so we communicate it ahead of time and we have people ready and engaged when they do reach that point. Then thinking about, hey, how do we actively get them to opt in? So we want to be building a kind of a wave of promotion leading up to this, and then make sure we can maximize this actual promo window, and then we may even be able to follow some things on the other side. But we're building momentum through the course of that given window. So I always kind of evoke the music or movie analogy. I always think about Taylor Swift when she's doing something. If Taylor Swift is coming out with something, she's going to be promoting it many times over, and we want to borrow the same enthusiasm. So during the course of the month leading up to it, we may want to be communicating what we want to be, again, offering, or at least teasing that out, saying, hey, we're going to be doing something unique. Do you want to get on our VIP list? So maybe they may be able to join a VIP list early so they have opt-in. So, hey, we're doing something unique at the end of the month. You want to opt in and get on our VIP list so you have early access. That's an easy win. It doesn't take any skin off the game for you, and an easy way to hopefully drive some performance. Later on that month, you may be able to share a few more things to keep people engaged. This could be in the form of a primary call to action, meaning the exact, the reason for the email, or a secondary call to action in the email. If you're sharing a piece of content, you can have a secondary call to action that may kind of incorporate this into it. It would make it relevant and different. So those are going to be things you want to be thinking about consistently when you're leading into this. So the closer you get to the promo event, the more consistent you want to be possibly sending around it. That, again, you may have that VIP, you may have those VIPs that have been building onto your list through the course of the month. You may send this to them early, and maybe they have early access to it, and which makes it kind of unique and different for them, because hopefully they're feeling warm and fuzzy, feeling validated, and feeling, again, like you care about them just a little bit more. And you may not, but you probably should. So again, we're getting more consistent as we're sitting here. And like I mentioned, Taylor Swift, if she's recording a new album or she's releasing anything, she's telling her audience about it as time goes on. And the more communication she does around it, the more momentum and anticipation that builds. So she's able to build momentum going into something. So when she does release a new album, or when she does start selling tickets for a tour, they sell out in a few minutes, as opposed to weeks or months, or not even selling out at all. So that's where we want to be thinking about this in a long-term window leading into the promotion. So the promotion actually starts way before the actual event promotion starts. We want to be thinking about it in a linear format ahead of time so we can build momentum and anticipation during that. Also, what we want to be thinking about is, hey, how do we vary the messaging during this promo window? So during a promo window, a given promo window may have a few messages at different times. If it's a really high frequency sending time, like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we may be sending up to 3 times a day on the bookends of this. So how do we vary our messaging during that time? It's not always easy, but we want to be thinking about it. So do we have content that fits in line with this that we can use as a Trojan horse to kind of send in the middle of it? Do we have other value propositions or other angles we can take? Do we have certain audiences who may want to engage with certain things? Do we have multiple segments who want to engage with this promo? Those are all things we need to be thinking about. So how do we promote it? How do we build a value proposition around it? And then how do we think about this strategically in the way that it fits with everything else? And then how do we change our audiences depending on when that send is? So this is what we like to do. We like to, again, build anticipation leading up to it. And then farther in, we want to be, again, really making sure that we're driving action and driving engagement. When we first send on the, like, again, the broad send or the opening of the promo, we want to be sending to a really broad list. So sometimes we'll even include unengaged segments that we haven't sent to in a little while. We're going to include them there because, again, we want to open this up as broad as it can be. From there, we're actually going to start compressing it where, again, we have that broad announcement. We're probably going to start compressing this really fast. So we're going to exclude our, again, purchasers in that window or within that promotional window from the cascading emails in here. We're going to, again, we don't want them receiving emails if they've already purchased as part of this promotion till the very end, but we don't want to kind of bombard them once they've already purchased. That just doesn't, not a good look on anybody. But after we have this initial send, we may have a follow-up. So maybe 2 emails that first day and making sure that we get enough people on. Also, we may be sending this as a plain text email because the deliverability wise, those perform at a really high level. And we want to make sure that we're getting those into an inbox as opposed to a newsletter or promotion tab. So sending as a plain text is one of those, really helps doing that, especially if we haven't sent that audience as frequently. This is a fun and easy way to do that. Also, again, if we're opening this up for a promo, this may be a few days. Over a week is a little bit harder to maintain that momentum. Like 4 days is a kind of a nice sweet spot because we have enough time to build momentum ahead of time, not too much time in that fat middle, and enough time to hopefully circle back around and reach everyone, even if people are busy on the weekends. So typically like to start these on like a Friday and end on a Sunday, start on a Friday, end on a Monday. All of these do work. We can start on a Thursday even, end on a Sunday. That 4-day window, thinking about that is pretty helpful here. Also, we want to be incorporating content into here. So how do we incorporate content as a Trojan horse? And when we can think about content as a Trojan horse, it really allows us to, like, again, share that content. And then, oh yeah, the secondary call to action is like, hey, we have the biggest sale going on around this category. This is where you should look for it. And it gives us a way to kind of like maximize that promo window. As we get farther in, we may be saying like, hey, last chance, or tomorrow's the last day. And we're also probably going to be merchandising this differently too. If there's multiple items or multiple different things included, we want to be, again, merchandising different angles on it, different collections, and we may be able to do that to different audiences based on what they're going to receive from it. Even if this is like more of like a B2B angle, if this is a webinar, what are the value propositions we can give to different segments in that audience, and how are they going to find different value in it? And that's how we want to be thinking about this. So again, bringing different angles to this is going to help us think about how it's going to perform. So we, again, maybe sending 1 to 2 emails on the intro, 1 email the next day, at least 1 email that Sunday, and then when it's ending, maybe 2 emails that last day. And then that second to the last email on the bookend of like Sunday morning, we want to open that up to a broader audience because, again, even if they purchase in that window, they may want to purchase again. So we want to make sure that that's available for them if they want it. And then we're, again, compressing from there. We're going to open our list up more broad for that first email and then compress it down. So we're only sending to our, like a typical list, and we're not sending to, again, our unengaged segments because those don't really help us that much. It's kind of like my analogy for the unengaged segment. It's like trying to pick up a spouse at a bar really late at night. Like, you're probably not going to find somebody you want to marry in a long-term relationship. The closer you get to last call, the more dodgy it gets. So you want to think about that as like, hey, I want to use this as like every once in a while, but not make it a habit. So don't be sending that unengaged list too frequently. I'll leave it at that. But this is where you can think about, hey, how do I build up this promotion? How do I maximize that promotion while it's happening? And then how do I take different angles? How do I kind of experiment? You may be sending from like a persona on your audience. I mean, from your list, like if they're used to receiving emails from XYZ at the brand, XYZ from this business, that's a really great way to kind of like zig and zag. So you want to have pattern interrupts built into there, like those plain text emails, that's a really great way to do that from like the founder or the owner. If they know you, there's a personal relationship there. That's a really great way to do this. Make these emails fun and engaging. They don't have to be boring. They don't have to be like super, again, like regimented or like directly calls to action. Making sure that you're, again, offering some value, having some fun, and hopefully building this up and promoting it in a way that's going to be helpful and valuable. Hopefully that wasn't too much, guys. I know I can go for a long window of time on this, but this is kind of like how we start to think about this in terms of offering this value proposition. And when we think about this from a bunch of different angles, that's what gives us a little bit more, again, firepower in making sure that we're going to be strategic and building this up to make sure it performs the way we want it to. So thinking about borrowing from Taylor Swift, maximizing this this promo window, and then afterwards, like, again, continue on afterwards. And one more thing, we're probably sharing more engaging content in this window here too. This is a window where we want to be playing the hits. If we play the hits here, people are going to be extremely engaged by the time this rolls around. So playing the hits, keep people engaged. Maybe recycle a piece that was really, really high performing in the past. That's what's going to perform really highly there. And then afterwards, we're working to re-engage our audience. That's where we're also sharing good quality content that's going to keep that audience back engaged. We're not focusing too much on selling right around then. We're trying to rewarm and re-engage our list because they've hopefully not been burnt out completely. But we just want to, again, pull back on the selling. We've been a used car lot for a few days. We want to get back into the value-added content position. So that's where we're going to be starting to send more value-added content really fast afterwards. And that's kind of where we're doing the same thing as playing the hits here and playing the hits here, so we can make sure that we're not we're having an engaged list by the next time we have something like this. When you do think about planning these, also make sure you have at least 6 to 8 weeks between these large promotions. Don't do these too frequently. If you do, when everyth's always on sale, nothing is ever on sale, and you train your audience to expect it. So don't do that too frequently, because nobody likes to have an audience that's just like expecting that all the time, and it's not going to be an asset for you or your business. It's not going to help anyone. So everybody likes good margins, and don't sacrifice that. So hopefully this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Let us know. We love talking shop on this stuff. And like I mentioned, I'm Charlie Fitzwater with Marketing Rhythm. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.